So we're here in Yankee Stadium because this site is open 24 hours a day for people to come and get vaccinated. So we're just talking to people coming in and out to get a sense of the process and any barriers that they've been facing to access this vaccine. And we've been hearing a lot of conflicting things. We've been hearing that a lot of people that live around Yankee Stadium didn't know that the site was open 24 hours a day, didn't know how to schedule the appointment online. And what we're seeing here on site is that there's not a lot of language interpretation for people to understand how to access the vaccine. There's not an information kiosk for people to come all the way from their homes. What's happening is that people are coming all the way from their homes here, and then they're being told, no, you have to make the appointment online. So it becomes an economic justice issue because it becomes an economic justice issue because people are basically wasting a fare to get here when they didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like the city has to educate people more carefully in terms of how this process works. And I'm really happy that Dianne Morales is here, a mayoral candidate in New York City, and she took the time to come and see the conditions for herself. And we're, basically collecting observations from people that we've spoken to get a sense from the community that's directly impacted to see how we can improve this process directly from the community. And that's why we're here today. Right. So Dianne, what are thoughts that you've seen?
Yeah,
Anything you want to add to that?
It's very frustrating that there aren't resources available on site to help the people who might not already have access to an appointment figure out how to get an appointment scheduled and help them navigate that system. I mean, the fact that people are coming here and being turned away, or people are coming here and then reporting that they were trying to call the number and they couldn't get anything other than a busy signal. Those kinds of things affect the equity for our communities. The idea that people are supposed to actually have a laptop or a computer at home in order to navigate the technology, but find their way here with some hope that they might be able to actually get scheduled for an appointment while they're here and instead get turned away. I could hear the frustration in their voices, and I hope you can hear the frustration in mine, because we are failing the people in our city who need it the most.
And basically at this point, improving this process and making it user-friendly for everybody in the community that's an immigrant, that doesn't have access to the language, that doesn't have access to the internet. It's a matter of human rights. This battle here is connected to the global struggle for human rights, whether it's here in Latin America, the African continent, or Palestine. And we also wanted to talk to Amanda, who also came through today, and she's from the Bronx. What were some observations that you learned in this process today?
Yeah, so I spoke to some constituents of the area, and the majority of the people told me that they just don't plain out trust the government, and a lot of them said that they don't really trust what's going on here because, as we can tell, due to systemic oppression, they have failed a lot of communities of color, especially Black and brown people of the Bronx. They don't trust this. A lot of things that will happen in Puerto Rico, the history of Puerto Rico and those vaccines, the abortion over there, that didn't really, side with a lot of people here. Then from what I talked to, they don't trust the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, because we don't really have a lot of information in so many different languages within the people of the Bronx. We have so many people here that are from immigrant communities that are not, updated within all the things that are going on. With this huge Yankee Stadium, this is like, a historic tourist landmark, but a lot of people don't even know, the services that are like getting sold to people in the community. So all the people that I talked to, they're very, very iffy about it, which is totally understandable because, the government doesn't serve our communities. They don't really, reach out to people of color, Black and brown people, and, this is like a neighborhood, that is really facing a lot of hardships at the moment. And, COVID-19 has really showed us that we need to come together as a community to raise awareness for these issues, and that's really something that we need to work on together.
And the most important thing is to get the policy and the recommendations from people directly in the community, because who better than they to figure out how to access this vaccine and how to center equity so that everybody in our communities can access their human rights through this vaccine.
Right. We're also seeing single mothers who came with their children to try to access an appointment get turned away. We're seeing people who took time off from work to try to access an appointment get turned away. We're seeing people who are struggling with different languages get turned away. There is nothing about this process that is equitable or just. We need to do things differently. We need to bring these services to the community. We need to provide education, and we need to do that in a language justice lens that really brings things to the community in ways that are accessible and relevant to the community.